Hello, my hard-working students, and welcome back to my lesson. My name is Roxana, and this is a lesson about how to simplify fractions. At this point, you should be very confident in working with multiples and with factors of a number, because that will help you understand and break down the numbers that we're going to be working with today. Okay, let's see. This is our first activity, so I am going to start by giving you an example. Let's take 24 over 36. Okay, now what happens is that you don't usually see straight away what the factors of these numbers are. If you want to do a quick recap on how to spot the factors of a number, I'm going to leave a link on the top of the video with a lesson about math tricks about factors and multiples. Okay, so this one I'm going to write it as a product of some numbers that come to my head. You have to think about the same number that you can multiply by something to get this, and then the same number that you multiply by something to get this. So 24, you can do 2 times 12, or you can do 2 times, and 12 you can say it's 3 times 4. And here 36, because you have a 2 and a 12, you can think about whether if it divides by 2 or by 12. Yeah, and I would say it does divide by 2 and it gives you 18, or you could write it as, how else can you write 36? 3 times 12. Okay, and then the 12 here, you can write it as 3 times 4. So basically I wrote it in smaller and smaller factors. I could also write this 4 as a 2 times 2. Okay, and now we have to look at these numbers and we have to figure out how to simplify the fractions. So if I look, you know that fraction, you have to know that fraction means division. So when you look at this like that, you have to see 4 divided by 4, okay? And I can cross them out because when you divide a number by itself, you get a 1. And that doesn't have any effect on the other ones, because anything you would times by 1, it would make no changes. Then you have a 3 divided by a 3, yeah? And then you're basically left with this. So this is your fraction. Yeah, this is 2 over 3. Okay, another way you could have looked at this was to see it as 6 times 4 and 6 times 6. Yeah, so you could have said, okay, this is 6 times 4 and this is 6 times 6. So then you could have simplified by 6, and then you could have said, well, it's 4 over 6. Okay, this happens sometimes. What you need to do at this point is look at the fraction again and say, well, actually the 4 and the 6, this is not a fraction in the lowest possible terms, yeah? So this fraction is called a fraction in its lowest terms, okay? And if you see these numbers, they both divide by 2. So if you divide a 4 by 2, you get 2. If you divide a 6 by 2, you get 3, okay? So you cancel down this fraction here, and sometimes you take 1 step, sometimes you take 2 steps like this until you get to the point. Depending on how confident you are with the numbers and how quickly you see the common numbers. If you see that a common factor here is a 2, then another one is a 6, and another one is a 12, you have to choose the highest one, okay? Now let's take a more mathematical approach to this. Yeah, so you had 24 and 36. A more mathematical approach would be to say, well, let's just write a few factors of 24. Yeah, so we're doing the highest common factor here. Basically, what you need to do is choose the factors of 24. What are those? 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 6 times 4, 1 times 24. Okay, all of those numbers will give you 24 if you times them. Okay, and they come in pairs. So now I need to write all of these numbers here. I need to write them here, but I need to write them in order. That's why I wrote them separately. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Okay, all those are factors of 24. And here you can do the same. You can say 36 is 3 times 12, 4 times 4, 4 times 4, oh sorry, 4 times 9, 6 times 6. Okay, and now we can, and 1 times 36. And we can write them in order. 1 and 2 times 18. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Is there any 8? No. 6, 9, 12. You can also cross them out as you write them here, just to make sure you don't miss any of them. 18 and 36. Okay, and now you have to look at them and see which one is the biggest. Well, the biggest one is 12. So on the top, you have to look at this and choose the pair that had the 12. Okay, so you don't write only the 12, you write 12 times 2. And yeah, so I circle this because the common factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay, but we need to choose the highest one. So 12 is the highest common factor of 24 and 36. And here the 12 was here, so we have 12 times 3. And now we divide 12 by 12 and we get 2/3. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Okay, so here is your practice activity, and you are going to, you can do this in your book. It starts easy, yeah, so I would say this is easy, this is medium, this is a little bit harder, but it's not impossible, of course. Okay, so I'm gonna let you do this and then I'll show you the answers, and we can also discuss a few of these. Okay, and I'm back. Hope you finished this activity. If you haven't, please pause the video again and keep working on it. I'm going to give you the answers now. Here are the answers, and I just want to show you here. They divided by 100, so they cross the 2 zeros out. Yeah, that's the highest, and it's the quickest way to do it. You divide straight away both of these numbers by 100. Because you should know that when a number ends in 0 divides by 10, if a number ends in 2 zeros, it's a factor, is a multiple of 100. Okay? So, yeah. Here is another activity, very similar, but this is a little bit harder than the first one. And you can pause the video now and do this in your book as well. Make sure you write the letters in front of the numbers so you can mark them. Okay, and now we're looking at the answers. Here are the answers. If there's anything you've done wrong, you either divided and you got the wrong answer of the division, or maybe you just didn't divide fully. So here, for example, maybe you only divided this fraction by 2 here and by 2 here. So maybe you only got like 4 out of 32. This doesn't mean you've done it wrong. It just means you've done half of it. Yeah, so it's not the wrong answer, but it's not finished. You have to look at it again and say, is there anything else I can do here? And then you can say, well, I'm gonna half them again. And then say that is 16. And then you look at it and say, hold on, they're both still even numbers. So it means I can half them again. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, 16 divided by 2 is 8. And that's how you get 18. You don't always go straight away and you get 18, only after a lot of work. Yeah, only after a lot of practice, you're going to look at these numbers and straight away see what they divide by. So for example, here, I know straight away that the highest common factor here is 25, because I know this is a multiple of 25 and this one. But you might not be able to see that straight away. You might see the 5. You can say they both divide by 5. Okay, so don't worry if it takes a bit longer at first to get the hang of this. It's normal. Okay, and here's a plenary. This is a fun activity. Which fraction below is equivalent to 2/3? So basically you have to take each one of these and you have to simplify them to see which one gives you 2/3. And it says which fractions are equivalent, so it's obviously more than one. Okay, so let's see. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. You should first try to do it without writing anything down, just to see if you have your eye formed right now or not yet. Because sometimes after a bit of practice you can see straight away. Here are the three fractions. And yeah, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was useful and you've learned something new. And if you like it and you want to see more videos, please subscribe, and you can also leave a comment with any suggestions you might have, either about the explanations, or if you have any question, or if you have any suggestion for future videos. I would love to hear anything you have to say. Okay, so thank you for now and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.